Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because this is such a fun video to read. I think I'm going to be basically reading the highest and lowest rated books on my Goodreads shelves on my physical TBR, and I have two very different books on different ends of the spectrum here. So the highest rated book on my shelves is actually Play Along. This is an accidental marriage in Vegas kind of plot line, and I'm so excited for Kennedy and Isaiah's story because we've obviously been learning about them the whole way through the other books in this series. This is the fourth book in the Windy City series, and this one has a rating, let me just check, of 4.46, which is an insanely high Goodreads rating. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we've got a book that I'm actually equally as excited about, to be honest. Oh, hi Layla. The lowest one on my Goodreads is actually Never by Jessa Hastings. This one has a 3.25 average rating, which is just crazy because I love Jessa Hastings' writing so much. But this is her first book that she ever came out with. It's also a Peter Pan retelling. I think there's like a love triangle between Peter Pan and Hook and Daphne. So yeah, I'm very excited for this still because I just love a Jess Hastings book, and I think her writing is what really stands out to me. And I've never really read like a fairy tale retelling sort of book. I think it's Emily McIntyre has that whole series with like the Hooked series. If I like this, maybe I'll venture into that because it kind of gives me similar vibes. So this is the lowest and then this is the highest, and we're actually going to be starting with the highest because I'm just so in the mood for this right now. If you're not subscribed already, please do not forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that, and I will see you in the video. See you in a second. Goodbye.
3 hours later.
Hi guys, I wanted to give you a quick update on Play Along because this is the first book that I'm starting for this video. I decided this morning, I was at the gym and I was kind of sick of my music. Nothing was really hitting right, and I thought, let me start an audiobook real quickly, and I knew obviously this is what I wanted to read next, so I have started this via audiobook, and I'm currently downstairs making a Sunday roast dinner for my family. And I've been listening to this whilst I've been cooking as well. So I'm currently 43 pages in, I think, on chapter 5. And can I just say, I feel like there's not been a book like this in quite a long time that I've just known is probably going to be a 5 stars from the prologue. Like, the prologue was just so much fun. I loved that. And I'm just loving this book so far. The audiobook is so impressive. I am loving the audiobook as well, and I feel like I'm probably going to continue to read a lot of this in audio version, or if I do want to obviously sit and read, which I definitely will be reading some of this book physically, I will probably have the audiobook in my head at the same time because their voices are just really fun. And especially the point where the point of this book is that you've got Isaiah and Kennedy, and Isaiah has been obsessed with Kennedy for years, but when they first met 3 years ago, Kennedy was married, and Kennedy is also the only woman on the staff for the Windy City Warriors, which is the Chicago's baseball team. And Kennedy's always like literally denied any of Isaiah's kind of advances because she's already had some struggles with like people being sexist towards her, her managers not wanting to hire her because she was a girl. Like, she literally had to change her name from Kennedy to Kenny on the job application. But then at the start of this book, and this isn't really a spoiler because again this is on the back of the book, they basically do a drunk marriage in Vegas right at the start of this book, and the scene where they were both drunk and doing it was really good as an audio because you just get drunk Kennedy and all of her thoughts and how she sees everything happening. And I think this could be a 5 stars. So far, to give you an idea of how this series has gone for me, Mile High I think was a 3.75, but then The Right Move and Caught Up have both been 5 stars, so I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if this was a 5-star read as well, because I just really, really love this series, and I definitely want to finish this in the next few months. I've got this one, and then Play Along. No, this is Play Along. What's the last one? Rewind It Back, which I think is Rio's story, and then Liz Tom Ford has... Also, sorry, I keep saying Liz Tom Ford. I know her name now is pronounced Liz Tom Fordy, but I've only realised this recently, so it's kind of set in my mind as Liz Tom Ford. But I need to say her name correctly, Liz Tom Fordy. I know she has a new book coming out as well, the start of a new series. I think it's called like In Her Own League or something. I don't know, I'll put the cover here. I want to be caught up for when that book comes out with this series. She's quickly becoming one of my favourite romance authors and definitely one of my auto-buy authors, and I'm not surprised that this is the highest rated book on my shelves whatsoever. This is my table set up. I don't have the biggest table in the world at all, but I still feel like it looks quite cute. Essentially my parents are coming round For dinner today I invite them round. We're about to actually go, oh, where am I? We're about to go to a comedy show this evening to see a guy called Jason Manford. I don't really know who he is, I can't lie, but I got it for my dad for Father's Day last year and then it ended up getting rescheduled to January, so we're gonna go and see that tonight, and I thought it'd be nice to cook a little roast dinner beforehand. I'm actually doing lamb. I've got these like slow cooked lamb bits from M&S which are really good. I've had them loads of times before. I love M&S's slow cooked range. Honestly, my entire goal in life is just to be able to shop at M&S all of the time. I'm going to continue cooking and listening to this as I go. Do you guys like my nails? I got them done yesterday. I think they're so very cute. I love when they say the book title in books, and they just did that. Just think of this as one big game. His tone is low and deep when he leans down to my ear and whispers, "Come on, wife, play along." Play along. I just love when the book title is mentioned in the book. That just brings me so much joy. That is a weird niche thing I love about being a reader. But 75 pages in, I'm basically chilling for the evening now. Went to my comedy show. It was okay. Not really top of my humour. I think it was like maybe aimed at the generation above me. Like a lot of the jokes were about having kids, and obviously I don't have kids, so like I didn't really relate, and like having like teenage kids as well. So like my parents found it funny. I still think it's going to be a 5 stars, to be honest. Kennedy K. Auburn, if you know, you know. I'm on page like 120 now and I'm loving it so much. I'm going to call it a night soon because I have work in the morning. I have to leave the house at 7 in the morning and it's currently 11:15, so I need to settle down. But this book has me giddy. I'm very happy, very giddy over this book. This might be on par with The Right Move. Or I don't know, maybe it's better. Oh, I don't know. Is this a lot of people's favourite in the series? I'm not really sure. I feel like The Right Move is people's favourite, but so far that is my favourite, but this might take over, I can't lie. I feel like with The Right Move and Caught Up, I was enjoying it the whole way through, and I thought it was going to be like a 4.5 the whole way through, but with this book, I'm just like, this is definitely 5-star feels from the get-go. Like, I'm loving it more than I did the other ones at the start. I was very much invested and 5-star feelings for the others by the end, but this one's like an immediate feeling of like, yeah. Tell me why I'm getting so choked up over Kai's speech in chapter 21. I'm literally dying. That is so sweet. Just a thought I wanted to announce. I wonder if Liz Tom Ford is married, and if so, I want to hear her wedding vows, because if she can write a speech like this for Kai Rhodes, for him making a basically speech at this big event that he's at, imagine how incredible her wedding vows would be. There's actually lots of authors, now I come to think of it, that I would die to hear their wedding vows, because I just love a speech. I love a love declaration. I love a friendship declaration, a gratitude declaration. And I feel like these authors, they're incredible at writing somebody who doesn't even exist's declarations. Imagine if they were like so in love themselves, how they would express their own feelings. I'm dying. If you're an author, can you invite me to your wedding, please? I've actually switched back to the audiobook. I did read some of the paperback, obviously, but I'm just really, really vibing with the audiobook. And one thing I really like to do, this is not an ad or anything, obviously not, but I just like play little games on my phone and listen to the audiobook in my head and like still relax and still switch off in the same way I would and still lie in my bed if I was reading an audiobook. But then I just get to play silly games and like completely switch off my brain. It takes a lot less brain power than actually reading, and I will die on the hill that audiobooks count as reading, and if you are bothered by somebody counting that as reading, then that's just not my problem. Because you should not care what other people count as reading, because everyone reads for fun. It's not a competition. I'm still consuming the content in my head. And I still love Isaiah and Kai Rhodes just the same. But yeah, I've been switching between the book and the audiobook because this is a really fun audiobook, as I said earlier. Here I have some bad news. I kind of feel like this is leaning more towards a 4.5. It's not that it's gone downhill, but I just feel like I'm not really having the 5-star feelings anymore. This is really hard. Maybe I will by the end. but I feel like I'm on a bit of a roller coaster with this book. Like, it was so good at the start, and I still am enjoying it, but there was just a scene, I'm on chapter 23, that I'm not so keen on, and it's kind of not giving me the ick, but I'm just not 100% sure on this now. Like, the scene has just made me feel, I guess, a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know how to really explain why, but Isaiah's really annoyed and angry about something, and the way that she's trying to comfort him, and the way and the timings for what she's decided to do just feels really odd, and I just feel like it's made me a bit uncomfortable. The other thing is, Isaiah's supposedly this like man written by women, and that's meant to be a good thing, right? But I kind of feel like he's too good, where it feels slightly unrealistic at times. I don't know. I'm just getting more 4.5 feelings now. Just finished play along finally. It's now 6:40. I need to leave in like 3 minutes to go ice skating. But I'm really glad I finished this book now. Unfortunately, I do have not bad news because it's still got a good rating, but it wasn't a 5 stars. I know, the whole way through I've been saying, oh my god, I've never known a book was going to be 5 stars so quickly. I think I jumped the gun on that. It ended up, for me, sitting in the 4.5 star category, and yes, there is a big difference. You might have been like, just give it a 5 stars, babe. No, I can't, because it wasn't a 5 star. And when I compare it to The Right Move and Caught Up, it just doesn't hit the exact same. It's just like setting a little bit lower for me. So vibes wise, a 4 stars feels correct, but that doesn't mean I enjoyed it like less, because I still really loved this book the whole way through. As you could see, I was a bit giddy. There was that one scene that I think I talked about last night that didn't sit right with me and kind of took me out of the story massively, and it gave me the ick a little bit. I also, when I'm actually thinking about it, I feel like we could have got more from Kennedy's character. I also feel like Isaiah at points felt a little bit unrealistic because he was too good, which some people might love, and I'm sure a lot of people love him and I love him, but I just felt like I couldn't believe he was real. Like, he didn't feel like a real person to me as such. I don't know how to word this, but it just definitely felt like a man written by a woman, but like almost too far. Like, this is a fictional man, and I can kind of tell like no man is like that. Lol, giving it less than a star because the character was too good. That's so funny. But there was just a few things, and the vibes just weren't 5 stars. But they were a lot of the way through, so it was so nearly a 5 stars. But I'm disappointed to say that it is a 4.5, but still great. Still highly recommend. I see why this is one of the highest rated books on my shelves. Obviously, I think it said it was like a 4.4. I rated it at 4.5, so pretty accurate. Spot on with my opinions / what Goodread thinks. Let's go ice skating. That's at the house. So I've just opened Never by Jess Hastings, because obviously this is the second book for this video, and the declaration is really sad, and I didn't expect that. Can I read this to you? No, it says, "To that very first lost boy who I loved so much when I was little, you went to a faraway place that none of us could follow, and you are probably the reason I fell in love with the story about that forever young free boy. You were youth, you were joy, you were the little bird that had broken out of its egg, and you are, to this day, time locked in my mind, all golden and laughing. I hope you found what you were looking for. I hope you found that you were free." Sounds like somebody passed away as a child and Jess is dedicating that book to them. And if that is the case, and if I'm reading into that right, that's really sad. But I am about to start this book properly, so I'll let you know when I'm a bit further in. I've probably only got like half an hour to read now because my boyfriend wants to watch The Traitors with me. I look crazy because I just put fake towel on my face, so I look a bit insane, but this made me laugh. I don't think I like him much, if I'm honest. He's not making me feel good inside myself, yet I so desperately want his approval, and I've never wanted the approval of a man before. Immediately, this is classic Jessa writing. I'm loving it. I'm like, shall I tab this? Maybe? I don't know. Obviously, I'm only on page 9 right now. You might think I'm foolish for jumping out my window in the dead of a night with a boy whose hair is as messy as his heart. But then, if you don't understand the lure and pull of the boy in question, I'm terribly sorry to inform you, but you've never met Peter Pan. How terribly silly of me. How terribly like the kind of girl I'm not. Imagine it, me, not saying that true thing to spare a man his feelings. Ridiculous. It would take me a very long time to learn that there are many different kinds of men in this world, and all the other worlds like ours, but a surefire, quick and easy way to discern a true man among men is how much of yourself he allows you to be in his presence. A real man will allow you to be your whole entire self, with breathing room and space to change your mind, and even evolve it. A mere boy might let you be yourself just an eighth of the way if you're lucky. That's so true. Hey guys, it's time we had a 50% of the way through catch up. In fact, I think I'm even further in now. I'm 58% of the way through this book on page 210. Let me tell you, I'm having a fantastic time. Honestly, I'm having a really good time. I'm really enjoying this book. I don't know why this is so lowly rated. Maybe people just don't like the Peter Pan retelling aspect of it, but I'm having a fun, whimsical time. I think it's so obviously Jessa Hastings writing to me, and the writing is just what's really making this. If you know me, you know I love lyrical writing, and there's so many parts in this where I was like, I wish I was tabbing this book. But I've listened to quite a lot of this on audio because I drove into work today, so I listened to an hour on the way to work this morning, and then after work I actually drove to somewhere called Melksham because I went to my first ever book club for the first time, which I was really nervous to go to because I was going on my own. I didn't know anyone there, but I've seen it on Instagram and I've been part of their WhatsApp group chat for like ages, but I just haven't gone because the last two books they'd chosen were books that I really didn't like when I read them. So I was like, well, I don't want to go to my first book club and say that I hated the book, because they had Holding the Reins and then Bride, and I didn't love either of those books at all. In fact, I DNF'd Holding the Reins. But this month's book club was The Crimson Moth, which is one that I actually read quite a while ago, but I loved that book. It was 5 stars. It was one of the first fantasy books I read, to be fair, so I don't know if it would still be a 5 stars if I read it now. Essentially, all that to say, I listened to the audiobook on my way there, so that was about a 40-minute drive, and then on my way back from the book club it was another 40-minute drive back. So I've been listening to a lot of the audiobook today, and I haven't been able to tab it, which has been sad because obviously I was listening to the audio, I couldn't tab it, but there are so many bits in this that I would really love to tab because this book just has so many like fantastic lines, and I love the use of like metaphors, and just the way she describes things is so real, raw and whimsical is the way I would describe this. This whole book feels massively nostalgic to me. Obviously it's a Peter Pan retelling. You've got Daphne, who is Wendy from the original Peter Pan stories granddaughter, and her whole life her grandparents have literally said to her, oh my god, one day when you get old enough Peter Pan's going to come to your window and take you to Neverland. And then when she turns like 13, she's like expecting it, but then he never comes until she's 17, and then she goes back to Neverland with him. And Peter Pan's also grown up in this. Like in this book Peter Pan is like 19 because I guess he stopped taking what made him young for a little bit. In this book he stays young by knowing where this fountain of youth is, essentially. I don't know how close this is to obviously the real Peter Pan. I can't remember the ins and outs of the magic in the original Peter Pan like at all, but this is really fun. Peter Pan is a very unlikable character in this book. He acts like a child, like a man-child. Like he's older now, but he's so immature, and like it's really interesting though. It's written in a really clever way, and it almost just feels like a really toxic relationship. And because Daphne went to Neverland with Peter Pan, obviously Peter Pan expects her to be with him like that, even though Peter Pan is not being very loyal. And you've also got Hook. In this story it's not actually Hook, it's Hook's son, so the second generation of Hooks, and he is like a mature, much wiser, much more, he's coming across as just this man when Peter Pan is this child. And obviously I feel like this is a bit of a love triangle at the moment, but Hook is the one that I want her to get with. I won't say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil anything, but that's the general setup of this book. Oh, Neverland place as a whimsical place just feels so real and like such a cool fantasy land. Like this just feels like a really nostalgic, whimsical fantasy book. Like it's kind of giving me not Metal Slinger vibes, but like kind of like in the way that things are described, kind of Metal Slinger vibes. I don't know, but I'm really having a fun time. This is definitely above a 4 stars for me. I don't know what I'm going to rate this yet, but I'm really enjoying it. And knowing that Jessa Hastings is releasing / writing another second book at the moment, I'm pretty sure that's in the works, makes me very excited for this because I feel like this was originally written as a solo book, so hopefully we'll get a cohesive ending to this book, and then perhaps another book will come in. I don't know what that will follow, but I'm very excited to find out. But yeah, I'm really enjoying. This should not be a 3.25 on Goodreads, I don't think. What are people's even like bad reviews? Let me have a little look on Goodreads and see why people are giving this a 1 star. Free me from this hell and take me back to planet Earth. Oh, okay, I see one of the issues that people are having. Fair enough. People are saying that there is some predatory comments and constant references to the FMC's age. Essentially, Peter never wanted Daphne to grow older, like the original Peter Pan, but Peter didn't visit her and take her to Neverland until she was 17 years old. She had to age up against the characters to make this book work, but a lot of these problems could have been solved if they made Daphne slightly older to begin with. I understand this would mean that she would be an adult entering Neverland, but both Peter and Jamison were adults. If she took out the sexual references, this might have been able to be pulled off with the current ages. So yeah, I do kind of get that, because obviously Peter doesn't want Daphne to grow older, but that is the whole point of Neverland, right? And also, Peter is still acting like a 14-year-old. He hasn't accepted himself that he's grown up, and they're not actually doing anything until, like, they haven't had any sexual relations, and she's just turned 18. So I understand why those comments from Peter might have been like, oh, this is weird, but it's Peter Pan. So 17, not 13, like that is in the UK age of legal consent, and as much as, don't get me wrong, I don't want to read smart about a 17-year-old, none of that has actually happened. I haven't read any of that. Afternoon, it is now Sunday evening, and I wanted to report that I have now finished Never by Jessa Hastings. I honestly don't know why this is the lowest rated book on my TBR, because I really loved this and I'm stuck on what to rate it, because for me it just felt perfect. Like, it had Jessa Hastings' lyrical writing. The ending though, I am shook at. Like, I need there to be a book 2, and I know she is writing a book 2, but like, that book came out a long time ago and she's made people wait a long time for a second half of that book, because that is not a satisfying ending. I was not happy with that. And I would also like to say, I think this book is even more toxic than Magnolia Parks. Like, if you think Magnolia Parks is toxic, you haven't even read Never. Like, that is so toxic, but there's so many more different things in play, because obviously it's in a fantasy land. Like, oh, I need the second book like I need my next breath, and I loved it so much. Like, honestly, I think the writing was the best bit. I really enjoyed all of the characters. They all felt so incredibly thought out, flushed out, and in depth. Like, these feel like real characters to me. The land, the descriptions of Neverland was just sensational. Like, the emotional maturity that Jessa writes at, like, honestly bewilders me. Like, it was so good. I just don't understand people hating on this book. Like, I get it's not like a high fantasy like book, but I just had such a whimsical, nostalgic time, and like, I really, really loved this book. Like, I kind of want to give this a 5 stars. Like, either a 4.75 or a 5, but like, I'm leaning more towards a 5. This is very memorable. This is a book that I will think about often, and I just had such a fun, whimsical time. Jessa Hastings' brain is just like a magical place. Like, how does she come up with these things? For example, the baggage claim bit. Like, that's amazing. And like, oh, it just felt so flushed out, and I'm really happy that I read this book. So this is the end of this video. I'm gonna give it a 5 stars. Do you know what? I am. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know if you've read either of these books, especially if you've read Never, because I need to know your thoughts on it, and especially if you liked Never. But if you didn't like Never, can you tell me the reasons that you didn't particularly like it? If you did enjoy this video, please do subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this channel at the moment and putting so much effort into my reading vlogs, and I hope you can see that. And hopefully I will see you in our next video. Bye guys, have an amazing rest of your day, whatever time you're watching this. Or a good sleep if you're watching before bed.